Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Agacad's webinar, The Faster Way to Manage Revit Openings and Fire Safety Components. Today I'll be your host. My name is Aleksandras Šeža, shortly Alex. I'm 31 years old, and I work in Agacad as a BIM application engineer. Originally, I'm an HVAC engineer, and I worked with the system design and installation since 2014. All the gained knowledge gave me advantage in understanding our clients' needs. And I've joined Agacad 3 years ago, and now I'm responsible for the MAP-related tools, that being cut opening, MAP hangers, and our general solution of the smart browser. Together with the product development, my job is to define workflows with our solutions to solve the needs of our customers so that they can achieve their desired results. So that's my job. If you'll have any questions after the webinar, you can contact me by this email. And as a company, we create applications for Autodesk Revit based on the needs of the world's leading BIM practitioners, and our main goal is to eliminate non-value creating tasks for our customers. We have developed a very wide range of BIM software in the world of Revit, and that includes our metal framing, wood framing, precast concrete design tools, some general tools such as Smart Browser or Smart Views, and MAP-related tools, one of which I'll be talking about today, and that is Cut Opening. And this tool is used to generate and control opening elements in Revit models. It provides faster opening creation and coordination process for multiple disciplines. And in this webinar, we'll cover insertion of regular openings as voids and openings with the fire details into the model, grouping openings by different criteria. Would it be fire rating of the structure, type of the structure, or type of the MAP system? I will show possibilities to control every instance of those openings in the project. And additional possibility, available since recently, opening control through the Excel, and that is exporting data and importing it back again. And now we'll go to the live demo, jumping into the model. Here's the model that we'll be working with, and it already has all the openings inserted, and we'll try to create a little bit different picture. So here's all the list. Let's say bye-bye to it. Delete all the openings. Schedule is not needed anymore. We don't have any openings in the model, so it's just a plain model. In this model, we have different structures, just to show all the possibilities. Those are walls, structural framing, floors, roofs. There are no columns, but if you have two big columns in your projects, you will be able to cut openings in those as well. So let's insert first batch of the openings, and just to show you how it works. I have already pre-prepared opening configuration, applied it to interferences, and here's how our table looks like for opening insertion. Here you can see different categories, level, families, and types, depending what you choose to see here. We'll discuss that a little bit later when doing some filtering. But for now, let's insert just regular openings. And as you can see on drop-down here, there are some additional families. Some of these will be available within the installation of the tool, and some are available to be downloaded and placed in the same folder, or you can modify our families to fit your needs, that being adding additional parameters or additional geometry. Actually, that's what I did for this webinar, and these families will be later placed on our eHelp page. So right now, let's insert just regular openings to see how the tool does that. It's processing all the intersections, elements. And in my configuration, I've set up that if openings are close to each other, they should be automatically joined. And of course, you can configure those distances, how close they have to be joined, or whether they have to be joined or not at all. So we have all the openings in the model. I can close this table, and we have something similar to what was here just 2 minutes ago. Openings are in walls, framing, roof, floor, and even curved walls. So here I wanted to show that our tool works with all types of MAP elements, first of all. And the second thing is our tool will work with any angle or slope of the element. Angle is pretty nicely shown with a curved wall, If it works in the curved, it will work even in the straight one, of course. So opening is made to fit the MEP element. For the wall openings, we see the situation right here. If I will open level 1, you will see these openings inserted for duct going with an angle. And what we can do is measure offset that was applied. And you will see that in the narrowest places, upon where the duct exits or enters the wall, the offset is 40 millimeters, and same offset will be from the other side, 40 millimeters. And now, speaking about the slopes, openings are already inserted. With the slopes, I wanted to show how our tool reacts to the changes and also creates openings for sloped elements. So this is the duct. I just added some slope to it. And there's also a pipe. I'll make that one sloped as well. The difference between these elements is that if the duct was a single element and it had a single opening for itself, then pipe's opening was joined in one bigger opening, which accommodated a lot of pipes and a cable tray. So let's see what our tool will do with these changes. To see the changes, there's a button of opening revision, and the tool will show that cutting element changed position. And this will be for the opening of the duct. So we can select all these openings, agree with last changes, and they will get moved to their respective location and change size again to accommodate all of the element with the selected cut offset. With a pipe, it's a little bit different situation. At first, we'll have to unjoin these openings so the tool could place separate openings for the pipe itself and rejoin those back again as a smaller opening. Okay, close, and here we have it. Pipe goes with a slope, has a little bit larger opening, and this one got smaller. And it happens through 3 of the walls, and for the 4th one, the opening was close enough to another opening to get joined back again. So we have even larger opening because now this pipe goes with the slope. So that's how it reacts to the changes. And let's go to the fire safety components. For that, I'll just jump a few steps back to the situation we had, remove the slopes, and delete all the openings. For the fire safety components, in this project I have elements with a different fire rating. So for some walls it's 2-hour fire rating and it's written in type name. For other walls it's 1-hour fire rating, and some walls don't have any fire rating at all. So let's insert openings depending on fire rating. And I'll show you also the families that were prepared for this webinar. The nice thing about working with this table is that you can see all the parameters of, currently I have no openings, so I have structures and MEP, so I can choose to see in this table any parameters of the opening driving elements, and also I can change cut offset or any other parameter of the future opening to be inserted. Also, I can add anything else. Let's add that fire rating. And this parameter will be taken from the wall and written into this table. And this table has direct link to the project, so it works similar to the schedule, so whatever we change here will be changed in the project. Whenever we have fire rating here, we can add it to the grouping, because as you see, these 4 parameters are driving the openings, so we can choose right now by category, level, family, type. So we have category, level, family, and type. So these are all the walls, floors on level 2. What we'll do, we'll add to this grouping fire rating. For that, I have selected parameters to be shown in this table. I will add fire rating and move it up to become the main driving grouping parameter. Removing filtering, by clicking on create new openings, and that's what we see. There are some elements with no fire rating, 1-hour fire rating, and 2-hour fire rating. So at first, let's insert openings into all the elements that have 2-hour fire rating. And if I select them, these are just 2 walls in my project. For that one, I will choose to insert fire collar as an opening for round elements and fireboard for rectangular openings. And it will be pretty fast to insert since it's a super small amount of openings. Okay, I will close for now this table, and we'll come back to it later. So here, where we see those openings. So this is the fireboards, and this is the fire collar. And here, I just wanted to mention some configurations that are available for fire collars. By default, they will be created with the same cut offset from the pipe as the opening, but you can either remove cut offset before inserting these fire collars for specific pipes and specific intersections, or you can modify fire collars themselves. I have created two additional settings. First one is ignore cut offset. So if we choose to ignore cut offset and I click apply, you will see that this one becomes right next to the pipe. The only thing that is left is that this collar, fire collar, goes around the insulation. So now let's ignore insulation as well for this type of fire collars. And we have fire collar exactly around the pipe as it should be. Same thing will happen with the duct. As you remember, or maybe you have noticed, it was going before with some cut offset. So now when we're good, we can insert openings further. So let's do that. Select the same file. And now our tool will suggest to insert the openings that were not inserted previously. Oh, and I forgot to change elevation for some of the elements. So let's agree with this one. Just remove it. And we can create new openings. So we have 1 hour fire rated walls. So we choose 1 hour, or not only walls, it's floors, structural framing, and walls. And here, let's insert sleeve and also fireboard, only because there is not a lot of choice of opening fireproofing for rectangular openings. So either it's some fire bricks or some filling or fireboards. And of course, these fireboards can be changed whenever you download the families to completely fill the gap or be of specific thickness. All that is controlled through the parameters in the opening family. Okay, I can close this now. And this is what we have. All the elements that were fire rated as 1 hour got fireboards and fire collars. And here you can see that the fire collar also goes around the insulation. Again, the same setting if it's needed. You can choose to ignore insulation completely, and fire collar will be placed exactly around the pipe and fills in all the opening that was created, and that opening was created with a specific cut offset that was described in configuration. So yeah, the last thing left to insert is, of course, some openings that are regular openings, and this will be probably the fastest part. Where's my wall elements that are empty? And let's insert regular void elements. Okay, only 26 of those left. And just as easily, we have all the model populated with some openings. And we can go to the next part of the webinar. So together with cut opening, there comes one additional tool that is called sort mark. And it's used for many elements, many functions, such as calculating elevations, coordinates, filling orientations. It can even generate QR and barcodes and create pictures depending on the parameters of the elements. But in this time, we will use it for element numbering. So what we will do, I will number fire elements. With the tab key, I will choose the fireboard. It's a shared family inside of the opening, and I will fill in mark parameter. So I chose just one family just to show the category, element numbering, fill in the mark parameter, and I have preset some configuration. And basically, this configuration will create unique number for the fire elements, depending on their location in the project. And also what this tool can do, it can copy any other parameter value. So I will copy family name, which is fireboards, and I will split it by space. There's nothing visible here, but I promise you there is a space. So splitting it by space gives me 2 separate words. And then in the first one, I will take first word and first letter of that word. then second word, and first letter of the second word. My overall code for fireboards should be FB and then the number. For fire sleeves, FS and number, and for fire colors, FC. And clicking OK. Without explaining the configurations, it would have taken 50 times faster to number the fire components. And I can open the schedule to show that fireboard schedule is filled. And we have parameters that would be needed to calculate the amount of material needed in your project, width, height, depth of overall opening, and thickness of the fireboard itself. Also area and volume. These parameters were already calculated inside of this schedule depending on the size parameters. Same thing for fire sleeves. We have separate numbering. And yes, I forgot to mention, when doing numbering, I applied separate numbers depending on family type. So numbers start from 1 and go upward. And fire colors, they will have only the diameter because depending on the producer, the diameter is the most important part for the fire colors. Let's go back to 3D. And let's do something similar to the openings themselves. I can select the opening, sort mark, element numbering, and I will also fill in mark and comments parameters so I could tag the elements. So I have openings numbering saved. This one will create and mark opening and then number of the opening. And this is what we have right here. So now every opening has its own unique number. And next thing, I will fill in comments. And for the comments, I will use something similar that was used for the fireboards, except here I will take whole word without just taking the first letter. So I will take fourth and fifth word. So that will be fire sleeve, fireboard, and so on. Okay, 95 elements numbered. And let's go into tagging. As I've created tags for this project, they will require one more parameter to be filled to have a nice tag. And that parameter is approved by, and what we'll fill into that parameter is type of the structure that opening belongs to. And for that, we could have used sort mark as well, but we will use opening control window, just to show how easy it is. So for now, I will remove the fire rating. And now the first thing goes that we have is type of the structure. So I can click on the floors, remove show host, and an approval comment, I will change value to floor. Simple as that. So now every opening that is in the floor has marked floor. Something similar to the wall. Select all column, change value, wall, and we're good. It just takes a little bit longer to load to more elements, and that's just Revit writing down the data. And we can do even for something similar for structural framing, change value, and let's shorten it, structural framing. Okay. So in this table, I can turn on any parameter of the opening and control it. That's what I was doing now. Close. And when we tag elements, let's tag something like this. So this is the fire opening with the fireboard. This is the round one. And we have a nice tag where it shows shape of the opening. Previously with the sort mark, I copied opening shape parameter, which is written by our tool. So round right here. Fire sleeve, elevation, size of the opening, host, and number of the opening, so we can track it with the Šeža. Another nice thing is, that I've mentioned in the bullet points, is you can track these changes and control openings through the Excel. Not that changing Excel would directly change the model, but you can export everything that you see in this table. I will turn off the host only to have the openings. I can click on this button and export Excel, which will have, just cut opening, save, that will have all the information from this Excel. And now when opening it, I could change any parameter that I need to, and then load this information back into the model and have the changes. So in this way, if there's some person who needs to check the model and he's not allowed to work with the model itself, he can fill in parameters such as comments or approval comment, decline comment, or maybe user created specific parameter to write down the comments, maybe change approved from false to true or declined from false to true. And later it will be possible to load all of that back into the model through this button. One more feature that I wanted to show, similar to tagging, but something that we've automatized for you. We have added smart dimensions last year to CAD opening, and this tool has also a lot of configurations, and there is a possibility to configure that specifically openings should be measured to the closest element. In this model, I don't have any axis, but for every opening there is a closest wall. Would it be horizontal or vertical? So I'll just apply that configuration and get dimensions for all of the openings. You don't need to place every dimension, just move them a little bit if they overlap. And here you have distances from opening to the wall. There is a possibility to choose from opening side to center of the wall. That's already, all of that is configurable. And I guess that would be it from the main part of the webinar. We will jump to the questions right after the finishing part. Some takeaways. MEP penetrations can be analyzed and controlled by different criteria, and that already depends on the end user, what they want to use. Every opening family can be adjusted, again, to fit company workflow, additional elements added, additional parameters added. With CAD opening, you get more detailed schedules, more detailed models, and of course, control of every opening instance in your model. If you want to make your opening creation process easier, get in touch with us and we can schedule a personal demonstration where I would answer any questions that you have and see if the CAD opening would fit in your company's workflow. Also, there is a possibility to download free trial of CAD opening for 14 days and try it out. If you would want to know the prices, contact us at info@agacad.com to receive the prices. And if you have any questions regarding the tool itself, technical questions, here's the email, helpdesk@agacad.com. And if you write to that email or directly to me, you will have your answers about the CAD opening. Thank you for your attention and have a great day.
Agacad, building BIM together.